Hello, I'm Monthly66 and this is a first. Today I'm going to make my championship predictions for 25-26. This is the very first time that I'm predicting the championship on my channel. And this will become an annual thing alongside Premier League predictions. And at the end of each year I'll react to my initial predictions as well. Not leave them until 2 months after like I did with the Premier League last season. Right, let's go. 24th Sheffield Wednesday. Well, right now they don't have a manager. Danny Röhl has gone after doing decently well for Wednesday last season. But when they do find a manager, they really going to bring a team that just finished last season with 1 win from their final 9 matches back to top half? No. This is going to be horrible for Wednesday. And to add to that, they've been dealing with financial chaos all summer. Their owners destroying them. Their star players have left. One of their stands is now deemed unsafe. And they're going down, no doubt about it. 23rd Preston North End. Absolutely. I've got a big feeling that Preston are going down. Come on, they finished last season with just 1 win from their final 14 games and survived relegation by just 1 point last season. And this season I reckon it'll be the amount of draws they get that makes them look like they aren't Rotherham in disguise. Paul Heckingbottom's going to get sacked by Christmas and they'll fail in their first relegation battle in ages. Honestly, anyone with a Preston season ticket is going to want to smear 10 bottles of ketchup in their face by October. 22nd Watford. Yes, this does seem a bit out there. Watford to drop 8 places to 22nd and get relegated. This doesn't sound real. Am I mentally okay? Probably not, but here's why I think it will happen. Their new manager, Paolo Pezzolano, a new manager at Watford. Finding that out is probably part of everyday life for Watford fans. But anyway, his most recent job was at Real Valladolid last season. He was sacked before Christmas after winning just 2 of the opening 15 games and having them rock bottom of La Liga on just 9 points. And Watford also finished last season poorly, winning just 1 game from their final 9. Those things coupled together I think will leave Watford in a terrible state. They'll start the season dismally, Pezzolano will be gone, which again, in the eyes of Watford fans, a manager being sacked is no more shocking than managing to spot a pool in someone's back garden while flying over Spain. But yeah, Pezzolano's definitely getting the sack, but it'll be too late. You'll get close to eventually surviving, but no. The side that were playing Premier League football just 3 years ago will soon be reunited with their scummy rivals Luton in League One. 21st Charlton. Charlton squeaked through the playoffs. After they went ahead against Leyton Orient in the final, they didn't defend well and let Orient take advantage and they realistically could have scored an equaliser. Thanks for 2k views on that video, by the way. And now they've brought in Thomas Kaminski, Amari Bell and Reece Burke, the goalie and 2 of the defenders that went down with Luton last season. And they're going to be poor this season. But still, they've got a decent team. And Nathan Jones is a good manager for championship levels. I reckon they're going to survive by 1 point. But a lot of people have tipped Charlton to go down. Nah, they'll shock everyone. 20th Oxford United. This tiny little university famous city shocked me last season and got 17th. Everyone thought they would go down, but no, they survived and in a decent position too. And this season I reckon it'll be more of the same. They will be strong and put up a decent fight and in the end survive by 3 points. Come on Oxford. 19th Stoke City. This is probably the biggest tapping in the list. Stoke finished 16th in 22-23. They finished 17th in 23-24 and finished 18th in 24-25. I don't care that their manager almost got Coventry to an FA Cup final. This is going to happen. If Stoke finish in the top half of the league this season, I'll pour a bucket of cereal over my head. 18th Hull City. How did Hull drop 14 places last season? Nearly identical to Huddersfield, when they lost the playoff final to Nottingham Forest in 2022, and the season after they finished 18th, and the season after that were relegated. But this is not going to end that way, no. Hull will have a slight increase on last season's points tally, but again they're going to survive just barely. 17th Derby County. Yes, this is quite similar to the bottom half of the league of last season. Derby will have a decent season. They won't at all be in a relegation battle, unlike last season where they spent chunks of the season in the relegation zone. And they've also made one of the best signings of the championship season, bringing in Carlton Morris from Luton, a man who just 2 years ago scored 11 goals in the Premier League for a Luton team that got relegated. He'll be what Josh Sargent was last season, 15 plus goals in the championship. Sweet. 16th Portsmouth. No complaints here. John Mousinho must be annoyed with all the accidental tags he's getting from deranged football fans because they mistake him for Jose Mourinho. But still, he's a decent manager and will again navigate Portsmouth to 16th safely just like last season. 15th Wrexham. This seems quite gutsy, doesn't it? I know there's going to be an excited Deadpool fan watching this, with bye 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 blasting out of his speakers, that's going to want to chuck a brick at my head for saying that they won't finish top, but I'm right, they're not going to get promoted. This will be the end of their promotion streak, but still this will be a decent season, and there'll be wins over big teams. They'll sit a comfortable 15th. 14th Middlesbrough. They were quite close to the playoffs last season, but no, it won't happen again. Middlesbrough have just appointed Rob Edwards, the man who's just led Luton to a double relegation. And I know he once qualified for the Championship playoffs and won them, but no, he won't repeat his magic. This will be a poor season for Middlesbrough. 13th Blackburn. I'm not sure how Valérien Ismaël kept his job from February until May, after failing to win any of his first 7 games in the league. But he did. Still, Blackburn aren't doing much this season. 12th Leicester. How this terrible Leicester team didn't finish as low as 19th in the Prem last season is beyond me. They could have finished bottom any other season, and now they've gone for the most hopeless manager pick that they could. Martí Cifuentes has had QPR moving absolutely nowhere, and now he's getting a job at a club where he's under pressure to return to the Prem. This is not going to happen. If Leicester do go up, I'll sit in an ice bath while someone throws chunks of mayonnaise at my head. 11th QPR. This feels like a gutsy prediction. They finished 15th last season and are always buzzing around Championship mid-table, but new manager Julien Stéphane's most recent job was at French club Rennes, where he did quite well, and now he's walking into a serial mid-table club in the 2nd tier of England. I reckon he'll have a positive impact and get them 11th. 10th West Brom. Nah, West Brom aren't doing much this season either. Last season was alright until Carlos Corberán left. Now they've gone out and got Ryan Mason. I know he's managed Spurs before, and that will be a good sign for West Brom, but I reckon he'll need time to get his squad together. Eventually they will come good, but now, no. 9th Swansea. Swansea finished 11th last season. However, they finished the season in a good run of form, and I think they've got enough talent in their team to do something. Not promotion, however, but solid 9th. Although I don't know how Jay Fulton's been there ever since they dropped out of the Prem in 2018. I've got match attacks cards of him that are 9 years old. 8th Millwall. This will be a close call. Millwall will miss out on the playoffs by 1 point. Still, this will be a good season for Millwall. They'll be unlucky to miss out on the playoffs. 7th Sheffield United.
Boring.
Seeing Sheffield United come up to the Prem in 2019 was interesting, because I had never seen them in the Prem before, but they've been relegated and promoted since then, and made 2 of the worst teams in Premier League history. So now they've gone from being an interesting newbie in my head, to a boring, dry mess of a club. And I don't know how Ruben Sellers has got a job at Bramall Lane, after guiding Hull to 21st last season. But the reason it will be different with Sheffield United is because they still have a talented team, and their Championship title pushing quality. But under Sellers, I don't know. They are going to miss out on the playoffs. 6th Birmingham. Birmingham were one of the best lower league teams I've ever seen in my life last season. 111 points in 46 games. Incredible. And I think they'll kick on. I'll be honest, I'm scared of Birmingham. Just go in there for a walk. Before you go out, you probably have to find the green screen costume and paint it black for your own safety. That place is probably about as safe as any scene from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. But anyway, Birmingham are going to be great. Mark my words. 5th Norwich City. Okay, this does feel a bit gutsy again. They finished 13th last season, and I'm tipping them to jump 8 places. Well, like I've already said, Josh Sargent was great last season, and their new head coach is Liam Manning, the man who guided Bristol to just 1 place below 5th last season. And now he's walking into a better squad, he'll do even better with the Canaries. Norwich are back. Not to the Prem, don't be silly, but to the playoffs. 4th Coventry. Frank Lampard is doing more than a good job at Coventry. Frank Lampard, the Chelsea and Everton flop. Yes, Lampard has done a great job with Coventry, and because it's been 24 years since they were last in the Prem, I want Coventry to get promoted through the playoffs. They've got themselves a decent side, and this will be a good season. 80 points on the board, and they will win the playoff final. Go on, Coventry. 3rd Ipswich Town. I was excited by Ipswich last season, purely because they met the criteria of a team that weren't in the Premier League ever before, or just not for a very long time. Over my time watching Premier League football, these are the refreshing teams that I've been excited to see promoted from the Championship. Cardiff in 2013, Bournemouth in 2015, Brighton in 2017, Huddersfield in 2017, Sheffield United in 2019, Leeds in 2020, Brentford in 2021, Nottingham Forest in 2022, Luton in 2023, and Ipswich in 2024. Those sides were all interesting and new. Well, now Leeds and Sheffield United have just turned into boring hokey-cokey clubs. And now I've got the same impression of Ipswich. They'll just be boring and dull in my head if they come back up immediately. And I don't think it will happen anyway. They'll still have a good season, 86 points on the board, but ultimately they'll trip up in the playoff final. Second, Bristol City. Ian Manning was so close to guiding Bristol to their first ever Premier League campaign last season, but now he's left for Norwich. And they've gone out and got Gerhard Struber, who last season guided German side Köln to first place in the second Bundesliga. He'll be another Fabian Hürzeler, and Bristol will be what Ipswich were in 2024, imperious and pushing the team at the top all the way. Bristol are going to be fantastic. I've got every belief. I want to see a new team in the Premier League next year. First, Southampton. Well, if these guys do come back up, I hope they're slightly better than the walking embarrassment we saw in the Premier League last season. But I think bringing in Belgian young super coach Will Still is a genius move. As much as I hate the fact that instead of hiring serial winners or managers that were at least good as players, clubs are now hiring nerds who, since being crammed in lockers every day at school, have gone on to make more money in a week than their former bullies will in their lives. And this guy is younger than Mini Minter, and yet he's still got some top class jobs on his record. And it all came from sitting in his mum's attic with a packet of Doritos playing Football Manager like his life depended on it. But it's worked well for him, so fair play. And they've kept most of the players that they went down with. I think Still is going to be another Mikel Arteta. He'll charge to the championship title and win it comfortably. Over 100 points on the board. Saints will return. So that's the end of the video. What did you think of those predictions? Were they bad? Were they good? Were they absolutely unredeemable? Will I come out with a points total of 200 when I react to this in May? Let's find out. Remember to stay tuned for when I react to this in May. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.